All right, well, thank you all for being here today. Let me, if I can, take my candidate hat off for a minute and put my speaker hat on. As we were visiting this morning, we had several members who were prepared to be here for 11:30, and we had to go on to other meetings and so forth, but I appreciate my colleagues who are here with me. Today I want to visit about some information that's been out there about TOPS and a constitutional amendment number 1 that I want to make sure is clarified for the people's understanding. There have been several reports, blogs, etc. that have been out there saying that the reason the TOPS amendment was passed was to free up spending in other areas in the general fund. And that is just not correct. TOPS, as everyone knows, is a contract that the state has with the students across this state beginning in 9th grade, that if they perform, that at the end of their high school tenure, they've met certain requirements, we're able as a state to help supplement their college expenses. It's a contract with the student. The contract between the student and the TOPS benefits the student. It also benefits higher education through additional higher education funding, and it has slowed the brain drain in this state over the last 10 years. Many TOPS recipients have other options to leave this state, but they've elected to stay because of the contract that we agreed to as a state with them as they started their high school tenure. We are at a point in history where I believe TOPS is a critical component to maintaining the economic successes that we have had in this state in the past, and particularly for the future. It has absolutely slowed, as I said a minute ago, the brain drain. More and more students are electing to stay in Louisiana for TOPS, because of TOPS. The point that I think is most important to be made, and that is that the different people who have written about it have said that the reason we are doing this constitutional amendment is to free up money in the general fund. The 5-year baseline projection, which I have here, has not been adopted since we completed the session. It will be adopted in December. But even with what we did through this past session to limit the size of government and make cuts in the budget, we are projecting anywhere between a $547 million and a $963 million shortfall in the 5-year projections. And so the amendment does not free up money for the legislature to go out and spend willy-nilly, as one reporter, one article in the blog said. It actually protects TOPS and makes sure that it is properly funded going into the future, even in the face of smaller or a rising deficit situation as projected in the 5-year unofficial forecast. I think that is very important. We are not doing this to move money around. The people of this state have said they wanted the legislature to prioritize spending. And the legislature believes that TOPS is one of the greatest returns on our investment in this state. As I said a minute ago, it benefits the student, it benefits higher education, and it benefits the job market here in Louisiana by providing employers with qualified, educated students and employees. And so I just wanted to take a minute to bring those points to the attention of the public as they go out and vote on Saturday, to make sure that they understand that the legislature overwhelmingly passed constitutional amendment number 1, that I believe, and I believe my colleagues believe, and they'll say their own words here in just a few minutes, that it is really critical to continuing Louisiana's success in higher education and our commitments to the children, all children, rich children, poor children, middle-income children. This is about a contract with the child. It's not about a contract with the parents. And I think it's important for us to continue to honor those obligations. And so with that, I'm going to turn first over to the author of the bill, Senator Alario, for any additional comments. John?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know of any program we've created in the state that has been more beneficial than the TOPS program. It gave an opportunity and an encouragement to children throughout this state to do well in school, to work hard in their studies, and because of that hard work, they would then be rewarded with a scholarship to go to college. This is based not on their status in life, but simply by achievement. I think that's a good thing we're doing in this state, and this constitutional amendment seeks to find some funding to make sure that this continues for a long time. It's a start. We're hoping to find some more permanent funding later on to continue the program, and we encourage the people of the state to look favorably on this amendment.
Thank you. Senator. Senator, Mike, you want to say something? We'll be kind to our colleagues across the aisle.
Appreciate it. And there's a lot of confusion out there about this amendment, but certainly TOPS was started, as John said, as a merit-based program to help all the citizens of our state and keep the best and brightest right here in Louisiana when they have an opportunity to move out of state to go to college. So as unstable as the economy is these days, this is a step in the right direction at providing some stability to the TOPS funding. It's a start. It's certainly not a complete job, but we would encourage the voters of the state to support this amendment and help secure funding for the future citizens of our state.
Jeff,
Sure. Thank you, Speaker. This amendment, one, really does two things that we've been asked by our constituencies to do. That is, number one, protect TOPS at all costs, and number two, prioritize spending. We've done it, but of course you can't make everybody happy, and the critics are out there going to say we did it for other reasons. Fact of the matter is, we're looking at deficits coming ahead. That's where the other dollars that may be freed up are going to go to, not to any other projects that may pop up that we're thinking of. So at the end of the day, we're protecting TOPS. We're fulfilling our promise to the children of the state of Louisiana to get a good education in Louisiana, and we're prioritizing spending. So I ask anyone listening, please vote for amendment number 1.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, I'm going to be a little different. I'm not going to have much to say, but I think all these gentlemen here have said it. TOPS, the amendment number 1, is something that I asked people to vote for. Thanks Senator Alario and Representative Jane Smith for passing it through the respective chambers, and for the Speaker Tucker for being a champion of TOPS. I've been a champion of TOPS, and I think it's something that we have to continue to fund, and I think this secures it in some part. It's not the end-all, be-all of amendments, but it will be the step in the right direction. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you all very much. I think we'll be glad to take just a quick question or two before everybody's got a 12 o'clock meeting, so we need to keep moving here.
Jim,
Yes, sir.
is there your heavyweights, especially Arnold, in making this endorsement announcement today, is there a problem? Is there, y'all hear anything on the street that it's in trouble?
As I have traveled across the state, there is great confusion after some of the reporting in the really the editorials in some of the papers and some of the blogs that are out there about why this amendment was done. And I just felt like it was important, particularly after we visited with everybody, that we come out here right close to the end and reiterate how important this amendment is to higher education and to those top participants. And so I just thought it was a good idea to try to clarify that, and that's why we're doing it.
Has anybody pulled amendments, see where it stands as far as?
In our tracking polling, we've seen, we ask a question periodically about the amendment, and it has kind of blipped down a little bit, but we want to try to stabilize that and make it grow as people come to the understanding of what it is.
What are you seeing as far as your latest track?
No, it's still very positive and still very popular amongst folks, but with the editorials in particular, it's kind of come down a little bit, and we just think it's important to make that distinction.
Thank you, Jim.
Sure.
Sorry, Jeff.
Anybody else? All right, very good. Thank you all very much.